This is Legal Nurse Podcast, the first ever podcast specifically for legal nurse consultants. You'll learn tips, tricks, and strategies that you can use in your LNC career. If you'd love to hold a book in your hands that you helped to write, be sure to pay attention to the information that I share with you during this show. I'm Pat Iyer, and this is Legal Nurse Podcast. Are you interested in attracting more clients and getting more cases and building stronger relationships with your existing clients? The focus of this podcast is on building your writing skills, how that makes a difference for you as a legal nurse consultant. I am the author of 68 books at this point, at the time that I'm recording this in June of 2024. I have several more books that I'm planning to release in the next couple of years. I enjoy the writing process, and I suspect that you do as well, because in order to succeed as a legal nurse consultant, you have to be confident and skilled in writing. You might feel overwhelmed at this point because you don't have enough clients, or you're just getting started, or you're thinking about how can I leave the nursing environment and change into a field where my writing skills can be used and I can earn money in a manner very different than taking care of patients. You might want to join legal nurse consulting and build a strong business because you recognize that you potentially can earn more income than you can clinically once your business is launched and doing well. You might even wonder whether writing skills make a difference. Does this indeed alter your chances of success as a legal nurse consultant? I'm going to show you how this process can help you in terms of building more business. The first piece is that your writing skills do make a huge difference in your bottom line, in your success as a legal nurse consultant. You might think, well, does it really matter how well I write? And I can tell you it makes an enormous difference. You can lose opportunities for business if you can't write well. This is particularly important when you're working in legal nurse consulting, where the written word is paramount. How you phrase your reports, how well you proofread them. One word in a medical record can make the difference. One word that's incorrect in a report can make a huge difference. I recall a phone call I got from an attorney from Princeton, New Jersey, who said to me, Pat, did you see this report before your expert sent it to me? You know that is not portending a happy client. He was irritated, and I understood why. When he emailed me the report was filled with grammatical errors and typos. I was embarrassed, because that represented my business. That subcontractor's work product affected his opinion of me. I never got another case from him. I worked with that subcontractor to improve that report, but I lost him as a client. And I made a decision at that point to require my subcontractors to send me their work product before they submitted it, so that I could provide an extra set of eyes and proofread that report for them to make sure there were no errors in it, and that the report was written in the format that was required for that type of case. How many clients are you losing because you've prepared a report, the attorney's paid your invoice, but didn't give you an honest evaluation about how well you did? Paid your invoice, said thank you very much, never contacted you again. You can also be losing billable time because of the need to go back and fix errors, to clear up communication, to deal with the dissatisfaction of an unhappy client. How much time are you spending redoing work because it was unclear? When you have well-honed writing skills, you outshine your competition. There are other legal nurse consultants out there who are not writing well. I've seen their work product. I know they exist. You come across as more intelligent when you write well. People make judgments about you. If you've got typos in your work, they make judgments that you are sloppy, that you're not paying attention, that you don't know any better. You are considered to be more trustworthy and credible. Attorneys can rely on you with the fact that your work product is accurate. And they have increased confidence in you, which gives you increased confidence. Other benefits of writing well is that you get more cases. Attorneys gravitate to legal nurse consultants who write well. They see you as more professional. They can trust that you're going to do a good job and that you're showing courtesy and respect to them by taking their case seriously. Legal cases are very serious. There is no escaping that. And particularly if you're an expert witness, if you write well, it increases your ability to be persuasive. An expert witness report has as its goal to sell the perspective of the expert who wrote it, to explain why the reader of that report should rely on the expert's beliefs and opinions, that you are presenting the case with the right perspective as opposed to the opposing counsel expert. I have proofread thousands of reports since that experience with my first subcontractor's feedback. She wasn't the first subcontractor I hired, but she was the first one who brought to my attention the essential requirement to proofread reports. And since then, in the 30 years that I was running my business full-time working with attorneys, I proofread thousands of reports. I sold the company, and then after a 6-year non-compete period was over, I returned to legal nurse consulting, where I hire subcontractors now and proofread the reports. I was proofreading a report yesterday for one of my subcontractors. I know how critical it is that you write that report clearly and accurately, and that you have impeccable business writing skills. Your business writing skills, however, are not just confined to writing reports. When you are marketing your business, you're also writing blogs for your website to show your knowledge and your expertise in your topic. You're writing emails to attorneys, communicating with them, marketing to them, as well as communicating in transactional emails. You may be writing stories as part of your blogs or part of your social media posts. And you might be, of course, at this point, writing a lot of reports, or maybe you're getting into legal nurse consulting and you're not yet at the point where you can say, I'm writing a lot of reports, but you'd like to be. Before we continue, let me ask you a question.
What, me? Me become an Amazon best-selling author? How is that possible? Writing an entire book by yourself is work, but writing a chapter cheered on by others is a lot easier. I'm putting together a team of LNC authors who are each writing a chapter with my step-by-step help. The book is written for attorneys, precisely those clients you want to work with in your LNC business. I've made this as easy as possible for you. You and I will discuss your topic and you'll know how to write your chapter step by step. Then I'll edit the book and guide you through how to participate in the book launch. For the second volume of this book, we created carousel posts about the chapters for LinkedIn and shared each other's posts for even greater visibility. In this video, Mary Beth Kirstein shares the experience and what it was like for her.
Mary Beth, I know that you wrote your chapter on personal injury tips for the book.
Yes, I just wanted to say the process was not painful. It may seem overwhelming, but Pat's program to learn about what's needed and the different things, the self-paced was very helpful. And knowing that Pat's going to look it over and make sure your article looks good, reads well, and looks professional before it goes out. It was fun learning the carousels and then supporting each other's and posting on each other's carousels. It also gave you something to help post on your LinkedIn and to respond to. So it was a fun process to be a part of the group, the whole learning process and supporting it.
Join us as an author for the third volume of Medical Record Analysis. We intend to make this book a #1 Amazon bestseller, and you could become one of our authors. We're closing the doors for this book on July 30th, 2024. Join us now by going to the link lnc.tip/MRA3.
And now let's return to the show. You also have, as a business owner, a responsibility to write sales pages for your website, even if it's selling yourself, about me, or about your services, or about the benefits of working with you. In addition, legal nurse consultants post on social media. You are focused on posting on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram or other sites. And in order to build a list of people who are interested in your services, you might be writing opt-in offers, opt-in reports, quizzes, checklists, questionnaires, methods of attracting attorneys to you to be able to add them to a list and have them as part of your marketing so that you are reminding them through your emails to them that you exist and that you provide services to attorneys. And of course, writing reports of a variety of kinds, whether those are chronologies or timelines or screening reports for merit, expert reports, research-based reports, summaries of medical records. There's a variety of work products that we produce. Other types of business writing include video scripts. We are very much a visually oriented society, and we are using YouTube and other sites for sharing our knowledge. That's part of your marketing efforts that you should be focusing on at this point. YouTube Shorts have become very popular, a less than 60-second way to express a brief concept that will get you attention. YouTube is promoting them very heavily, so they get lots of views. And as part of your marketing efforts, once you have opt-in offers that are on your website, you'll be following that up with email sequences so that a person signing up for your list is receiving ongoing information from you to keep them engaged, interested in what you have to offer. And then another type of business writing, which I'll highlight in this podcast, in the middle of this podcast, you'll hear about an opportunity to contribute a chapter to a book that I'm putting together in this year with chapters that have been written by legal nurse consultants. One of those writers could be you. Some of the people I talk to feel a little overwhelmed, and you might feel a little overwhelmed at this point, having just heard me talk about the different types of writing vehicles that you should be using as a legal nurse consultant. There's a lot of negative self-talk that goes on. People who struggle with their writing. There are people who would not consider doing legal nurse consulting because they feel that they're not good writers and they couldn't possibly improve. You can improve. If you're feeling that way, let me tell you, you can face your fears and your concerns and get through them. One of the common obstacles that people bring up when I talk about the different types of writing that business owners should be doing is, where am I going to find the time? A little bit of time each day can yield enormous results. Spend 10 or 15 minutes on one social media platform. Write some comments, post a blog, write an observation, share a link to an interesting article. Doesn't take long to do those things. Some people say, who am I to write? Everybody knows more about this topic than I do. Why should I be the one who adds contributions to this body of literature? Who am I to do that? I'm just me. Teresa Devitt Lynch said something very similar to me one time. She said, I doubted if I knew enough to write. After just one meeting of my group for legal nurse consultants, the Legal Nurse Business Writing Circle, I gained the confidence to write my first blog. The support and encouragement I got was incredible. You may have doubts about your writing skills, as I've mentioned. You may think, I'm not good enough. You can improve writing skills. It is an art. It is a way that you can express your expertise. There are certainly ways where you can learn the skills to become more coherent, for your sentences to flow more, to break up big sentences, to break up big paragraphs. There are certain defined techniques that you can learn. And if you're feeling overwhelmed by writing obstacles, take heart in the fact that this is not a difficult science. This is something that you can improve with practice. You might have writer's block. That could be another obstacle that you put in front of yourself. What could I possibly write about? Well, I can tell you that I watch the news. I read news headlines on my phone, perhaps more than I should at this point. At least a couple times a week, there's some type of a story about a medical issue, a medical malpractice suit, a criminal case. I read in the headlines all the time about these types of stories. I could write hundreds of blogs a year based on these stories, on different aspects of them. Those are all around you. Stories of types of patients you've cared for, new advances in medicine, implications for attorneys of certain changes in healthcare. It's an endless list. The perfectionists, they can hold you back. If you've got perfectionistic tendencies, it's never good enough. Now, this is a problem when you're working in the legal arena and there are timelines. There are deadlines. You can't afford to continuously update your work product. You've got to get it finished and out the door. The perfectionist can hold you back and convince you that you should never write anything because it will never be perfect. Warren Buffett points out that the one easy way to become worth 50% or more than you are right now is to hone your communication skills, both written and verbal. It does make a difference. When you tackle these writing projects, when you tackle your writing skills, when you look for opportunities to write, whether that's a chapter in a book, as I've mentioned, whether it is writing blogs or posting on social media, it is a muscle. Think of it as a muscle that you're exercising and building up. And Ray Edwards points out, words are the keys that unlock the hearts and the minds of buyers. Ray Edwards is a copywriter and teaches people those skills of how you can utilize your writing skills to attract clients and to satisfy them. In this podcast, it was my intention to point out how critical it is for you to perfect your writing skills. This is the core of what we do as legal nurse consultants. I'm Pat Iyer. Thank you for joining me in this podcast, and stay tuned as we talk about what's coming up next. Coming up next, you're going to have an opportunity to hear about a type of nursing care, multidisciplinary care, that brings so much to so many people, and yet, if not properly structured, if not properly presented or monitored, can result in some big holes in healthcare. Our guest is Yvonne Hansen, who has a long history working in the area of hospice. She is currently an expert witness evaluating hospice care cases and can consult behind the scenes as well. Yvonne, what were some of the topics that we covered in your podcast?
Well, Pat, we discovered what hospice was. We discussed how it's paid and what some of the liabilities and red flags are that LNCs need to look for. And there's a lot of them.
Yes, there are. We delved into this topic, told a few stories, gave some examples of hospice care. These are cases that exist. They may not be as obvious as the newborn who is born with brain damage, where it's very clear what the damages are. In this world, people like Yvonne who have specialized experience are necessary to guide the legal team through to help tease out some of the elements of these cases, identify deviations, identify defenses. So stick around and hear Yvonne Hansen's podcast on hospice care. Thanks so much. I'll see you there. That's all for today. Be sure to check out this opportunity that I'm offering for a limited period. You'll have a chance to be part of a team of LNCs who are working together and sharing their wisdom by writing chapters for my next compilation book. Go to lnc.tips/MRA3. That's lnc.tips/MRA3.